Okay. So first, let me introduce myself. Some of you may already know me if you took the CS1 with me. If you took the CS1 with the other instructors, so you probably don't know me. But my name is Brady Chen. Uh, so I'm the instructor for this class. Uh, so in the syllabus, I just provide all the information here, but some of the information may not be useful right now because my office my office in the form. So so this class is actually on sync. It's online synchronous. So we're not going to use the office. So but I just post the information here. I hope down the road maybe everyone get vaccine so we can we get the get the vaccine so we can actually get an immune system working so we can actually meet on campus. I hoped that one day we're going to be able to do that. But at this moment, the course is actually delivered online, but it's online synchronous, which means that the teaching going to be remote, but we're still going to meet twice a week on Monday, 11:30. Oh, I'm sorry, 11 to 12:15, and also on Friday. It's the same day, same time, 11 to 12:15. So every Monday and Friday. So we need to log into the Google Meet and we we hold a class. So it's just like a regular class, but on the virtual setting. So the Google Meet we're gonna use uh, is this. So that's the Google Meet we're gonna use throughout the whole semester. So the one you're using right now, the link you're using right now, going to be used throughout the whole semester. And also for the office hours, I have 2 office hours, Monday and Friday after the class, and we're going to use the same link. So, so you can view this as my virtual office. So, so every time you want to meet me or every time you want to talk to me, you can email me so we can set up a Google meeting. Most likely, I'm going to use this link. So I want to use the same link. I don't want to create too many different links so people get going to be confused. Okay, so in this semester, as I say, this is online sync. The class modality is online sync. So we're not gonna meet face to face. So that's why the computer the technology gonna play a very important role in this class. Okay, there are 4 actually tools we're gonna use in this class. These 4 tools are all important. One is Google Meet, and we're gonna meet regularly using Google Meet. Okay, so every time during the class time, you're gonna log into the Google Meet. That's number one. Two, um, we're gonna use the email. So if you have any questions and or you want to set up a meeting, you know, you're gonna use the email. Email is the primary way for communications. So I'm gonna actually show up during the office hour. So I'm actually gonna log in to the Google Meet section during my office hour. But if you say I'm not available during your office hour, but I want to actually set up a meeting with you, then use the email. Email me so we can set up the meeting. In other place, in other times. So Google Meet, email. Um, the other one, which is very important, is the Zybooks. I actually mentioned this in my announcement. So in this in this semester, I'm not going to use any paper books. Okay, So I will use the Zybooks. I adopted the Zybooks.com. Uh, it's a textbook. It's an online book. Uh, this is the first time I use the Zybooks. So we all gonna learn this Zybooks setting. But I actually get a chance to work on the Zybook. I think there are many actually good features about the Zybook, particularly during COVID-19 when we actually when all the classes are actually remote. So I think Zybooks plays a very good role because it can actually do many things that the traditional book cannot do. So that's why I adopt the Zybook. Um, so if you haven't subscribed to the Zybook, please actually do so as soon as possible, because if you know, not just the book, you need the book, um, you need to read the book, and also there are many exercises, assignments in the Zybook. So in order to submit any actually assignments, you need actually log into your Zybook account and do your work. So it's not free. There's a cost for the Zybook. That's the information I got from the Zybook when I subscribed for it. The cost, it says it's 90 60 69.3. So I'm not sure that's correct or not. If you already subscribed to Zybook, just let me know. That's what they told me. So that's the cost for the book. So today, I'm going to talk about the syllabus, and after the syllabus, I'm actually going to talk about the Zybooks and how to use the Zybooks and what are you going to expect, in this semester. Okay, so that's the number 3, tools I'm going to use. The other tools that we're going to use is the Blackboard. Of course, it's the Blackboard. So the Blackboard are gonna be very important important tool for us. So these are the 4 tools I'm gonna use in a big way. Please use these tools, because in order to make sure you're gonna be successful, you have to be familiar with all these 4 tools. Okay, emails is it's simple because everyone used the email already. And Blackboard, I'm not sure, because if this is a second semester or third semester, I believe you already used this Blackboard, right? So the Blackboard is also very important, and the Zybook, we can actually work together to make it work. This is a very efficient tool. Um, and then um, the Google Meet. Uh, so no, I just find out, it's a during the COVID-19 that I just find out that these tools are so important. If you don't use them, if you turn off your computer, you will feel lonely because you feel like you're helpless. You cannot get any help. But if you actually take advantage of these tools, you can easily actually access to the resources. You can easily communicate with other people. You can easily actually connect to the other people, your classmate, and you can easily communicate with me. So you can get all the helps you can get. That's the key for the success. These technology, the tools, are the key for the success of this class. Just keep that in mind during the COVID-19, uh, during this semester. Uh, I hope that after everyone get vaccinated next semester, I hope everything gonna be back to normal, and we can actually meet in class on campus. That's the hope. But at this moment, I think we have to rely on the technology. Our life is rely on the technology, so that's so important. Um, so If you haven't subscribed to the Zybook, please do so as soon as possible.
Can you also put the code in the chat so we can all copy and paste it since we get to the website?
Okay. You want me to
Yeah.
put in here? I can
Where?
I can just put in
Like,
the message here in the class. Yeah.
yeah, that's what
Also,
I'm
I
saying.
can email you. Email
Oh,
everyone.
okay.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, that can also be.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
send email right after class, but I can actually post it here if you. Um,
Mm,
hold on.
and did I just. What's this?
So you can. This is the. If you want to do it right now, then you can do it. But it's okay. So
Okay.
you can do this after the class. It's okay. I gonna email you right after the class. So
And I think I've also found an alternative teaching tool for Java called codeboard.io.
codebook.io.
Codeboard. It's like,
Oh,
I'll type it in
codeboard.
the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, I just found that for alternative use of what to do in the class.
Okay. Yeah, there are so many actually online tools we can use, but this Zybook is the one I use in this class. So yeah,
Okay.
I hope you can subscribe this so we can act because you know I actually gonna introduce this Zybook, so just give you some idea how this book is gonna work. You can
Okay.
even actually the book is actually web based, but you can even actually download a PDF file to read it offline. So there's a lot of good features with the Zybook. So that's why I think I'm using it, and also my colleague and other instructor, they when they teach the class, they also use this iBook. So I think it's very convenient. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So this course is actually the second part of the programming course. The CS1 mostly we cover the Python, and this one we cover the Java. Uh, so the first part basically we cover the very similar materials than Python. We just cover the syntax, we cover the some control structures, and then we're going to talk about the inheritance, polymorphism, recursion, and the GUI, the Java graphical interface, and the except handling. Okay. So the throughout the semester, the class materials will be organized into 6 modules. Okay. So, so I'm gonna group some of the chapters and create the different modules. Module 1 will actually basically contains module 1 will contain chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 4 in the Zybook. So if you log into the Zybook, you're gonna see the book chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 17, 13, and there's a whole lot of chapters in the Zybook. But I'm going to organize the material into a couple of different modules, actually 6 modules. And then I will give you the assignments for each of the module now. So now these are the course assignments. For each module, I'm going to actually grade each of the assignments. The assignments basically consists of the problems in each module and each chapter. So these are the course assignments and the grading. And so eventually your total grade will be 100 if you actually did everything perfect. But this is actually the weight for each of the assignments and labs, tests, final, and also participation. Um, Class attendance is required, and also participation is actually part of the learning curve. So you need to participate in there. So also, 10% will be assigned as the participation points. So just let you know that. Uh, so the class gonna be graded actually based on 100 points, and then these 100 points will be mapped to the Fitchburg State University grade. So this is the mapping. If you actually get 100, then you got 4.0. Actually, if you get more than actually 93, you get 4.0. So these, if your grade is actually between 87 and 89, you got 3.5. So this is actually the mapping. Okay. Now, also, I actually provide the class scheduling and assignments. Okay. Here is the dates. Okay. Monday, Friday, Monday, Friday. And then this scheduling, this schedule is tentative because the schedule may change because after I actually cover a particular material, like a chapter 3, I find out I need to spend one more week on chapter 3. Then I may actually make an adjustment for the schedule. So this schedule can actually, it's not fixed, it's tentative. But this schedule can give you some kind of overall picture in terms of how the class can actually progress. Uh, so the test one gonna be approximately on February 22nd, and it will be actually probably gonna be scheduled on 22nd uh, of February, but it may actually change because if the schedule change, it may actually slightly change. So, but this is gonna give you some kind of overall picture for the whole semester. Uh, I also highlight some of the holidays and also some kind of day called wellness days because um, typically in the spring semester we have a spring break. I think spring breaks typically start in March like 10th, just in the middle of March we're gonna have a spring break. But this semester the university decided that they are not going to actually have the spring break. So, but however, they're still going to give you all these days off. So they actually split, you know, distribute all these days into different times. So that they call this wellness days. The wellness day has no class. Okay. So for example, Friday, April 30th is a wellness days. And there are some other wellness days which are on Wednesday and also Tuesday or Thursday. So, so since this class is actually only on Monday and Friday, so uh, the other wellness day I'm not going to show will not be shown up over here. But so you will find out, the wellness day, which is actually kind of special for this semester. Okay. That's the class schedule. And if you have any questions, you can actually go ahead and ask.
Oh yeah. In case you haven't read what I said in the chat, the subscription, if you're paying it just for this subscription is actually $44.15 unless it's paid for 1 year.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's good.
Yeah, if it's 1 year, then it's $62.15.
Okay.
But if it's regular, then
Okay. That,
44.
that's good. Actually good. But because that information was sent by the Zybook when I actually subscribe. I say the subscription fee is 69, but if it's fewer than 69, that's
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
it must have been the average you've got.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So it's probably actually based on the numbers. If you have more people, probably the price gonna be cheaper for each one. So I don't know, but that's good. Um, so this is actually the the class syllabus. And for the programming assignments, I'm not going to actually go over in each of these in detail, but basic idea is that you know, for the programming, like lab, you have to make sure the code is running to get the full credit. If the code is not running, you may get the partial credit for the programming policy. You never get full credit for the code which is not running. Okay. So for each assignment, I will give you the due date. So make sure you submit before the due date. But if you submit after the due date, you will still get some points. I will get you will get some sort of penalty, not really that big. So don't give up if you miss the due date. So technically, I still want you to actually submit on time. Now, if you actually have any questions, any any issues, before the due date, just feel free to contact me. So I tried everything I can to resolve it. Typically, when I actually give you the assignments, I will give you enough time to work on the assignments, and also I give you enough time to ask questions, talk to me. So hopefully you don't miss the due date. But if you, in case you miss the due date, don't give up. You still get the credit for your work with small penalty. One thing I want to mention about is the academic dishonesty policy, and this is also related to the collaborations. So let me make it clear. Collaboration is encouraged. So which means if you have any issues and you want to talk to your classmate, talk to other people, if you have any question, you can even actually, come to my office hour and talk to me. That's collaboration. That's encouraged. But once you actually start do the assignments, so once you actually, when I gave you the assignments, when you start to do the assignment, when you submit the assignment has to be your work. Okay. Don't take other people's work and submit as yours. So that's the difference. So you have to submit your own assignment unless if this assignment is a group assignment. Because in this class, I will actually I will create a couple of groups. So you will form some groups. And then the purpose for the group is that you can actually, study the materials before the class. I hope you can read. I will give you the reading assignments so you can read the class materials and before the class. And then I hope that you can have a group meeting, maybe before or during the class time. Sometimes during the class, I give each group a separate Google Meet link, so you can actually have a group meeting. And what I want you to do is you can discuss the topics, materials, and if you can come out with some of the questions, so then we can discuss these questions in our class. So the group can actually discuss and try to find out any issues or questions in the topics. So, so then we can discuss about this. And in that case, some of the assignments going to be a group assignment. So then you can actually work together on the problems. Okay. Otherwise, if it's an individual assignment, you have to do it by yourself. Okay. Now, that's something I just learned, during the COVID-19, because most of the class going to be delivered online. So you have to be very active. You have to be actually engaged in the classroom, in the virtual classroom. So that's why I just mentioned that the tools, the technologies, I just mentioned that the 4 tools, you have to take advantage of these tools because you have to use the tools. If you don't use the tools, you're completely out because there's no way you can communicate with other people without these tools because it's not a traditional class. It's an online setting. So make sure you take advantage of the tools. Make sure you're active, engaged in the classroom, in the virtual classroom. That's very important. So I hope that everyone gonna be successful because this COVID-19 is really a big challenge for all of us, you know. But if you actually take advantage of these technologies, you can still actually build your connection with other people and still build a connection with the classroom with me. So we can actually still we're still connected. So then you can get help and you can also help other people. That's probably the best way to learn the class material. And that's the key for the success of this class. Make sure you're engaged. Okay. So I'm not going to actually read the details for the academic dishonesty policy, just to use your common sense. As I mentioned, that make sure you do the work by yourself, unless it's a group work. Then you can actually discuss with other people, and also feel free to ask a question. Uh, Feel free to collaborate with other people. Okay. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all I want to talk about for the syllabus. Um, so if you have any questions about the syllabus, just feel free to contact me. And so the syllabus is already on the Blackboard. If you click when you log into Blackboard, click the syllabus on the left, you will see the syllabus. And I'm also going to actually put a PDF file in there in case you want to download the syllabus. And thank you for mentioning this. I'm going to do this. So right now the syllabus is actually web-based. Any questions? So if you have any question, you can just interrupt me, or you can type anything in the messaging. So then we can actually uh, talk about it. Okay. Um, okay. So if you have subscribed to Zybooks, then you can actually log into the Zybooks and you will see the textbook, the course number and the course title. And if you click it, this is the Zybook. It's web-based. So if you click each of these represent a chapter. So there's a whole bunch of different chapters. I'm not going to cover all the chapters, but I'm going to cover most of the chapters. So if you click each of the chapter, if I click chapter 1, then you're going to see these sections for these chapters. Okay. Now, so you can click each of the section and read the materials over there. So this is actually the material for the Zybook. So the good thing about the Zybook is after you read the class, the book material, then there are a couple of actually exercises. There are a couple of exercises I need to mention. The one is the okay. Let me type this. One is it's called the participation. And also you're going to see some challenges. Challenge activities. Okay. So now, right after you finish your reading, please actually do this participate activity. This is a part of your assignments. Okay. So once I gave you the reading assignments, you read the textbook and you actually do each of the participating activity. There's another participating activity. Um, so please actually do this. And so another one. Some of these are the multiple choices. So they're different. Some of this is actually show like animation. So you can actually see the animations. But this is actually the way so you can learn the material by actively engaged in these activity. So this is actually, you know, the Zai book. I think the last one is called, still also the participation. Now, once you finish the first section in chapter 1, and then there's a link leading you to the next section, 1.1, then 1.2, program basic. And then you can actually continue to read the book and doing the participation activity. And there are also some kind of activity called a challenge activity. You know, participation activity is basically some very simple questions, because once after you read the textbook, uh, read the material, you can actually answer the questions or doing some kind of work over there. And the challenge activity is a little bit more than the participation, because in the challenge activity, you're going to use the knowledge you just learned to solve some of the questions. It's a little bit of challenging questions. Okay. So you can start and you can actually do the work based on the instruction. So I think for the first chapter, because the Zybook is actually new to me, and I played with Zybook for like a couple of weeks. I think it's very good, and you can actually, for the first chapter, I will give you some kind of a trial section. So basically, you can actually play with all these. Uh, so even you actually make a mistake, that's fine. You can just replay it. I think a mistake is a way to learn the material. So it's always a good way to learn the material is to make a mistake. Uh, so I will allow you to make a mistake. So the first chapter, I want you to read the book, first chapter, and practice the participating activity and the challenge activities. And so so right after today's class, I'm gonna post my first assignment, the reading assignment, and also the assignment for the first chapter. So you actually gonna actually start to work on this. Okay. So now, one of the good thing about the Zai book is, this is online based. However, if you want to say, well, I don't want to log into the web browser every time I want to read a book. So can I actually download the book? Now the answer is yes, you can actually download the book. Okay, then you actually go back. So if you get lost, if ever you are in 1.2 section, the chapter 1 section 2, and if you want to go back to the content, then you can just go to the top and click the course number, and then it's a table of contents. And now if you actually say, here's the first chapter, chapter 1. Now the Zybook allows you to print each of the chapter. So if to do this, you can click and then go to the end of these chapter. That's chapter 2. You can print a chapter. So basically, you can actually print a chapter into the PDF file. So you can actually print the chapter and save it on your local machine. So then you can actually read the book offline. But however, in order to do the assignments, do the participation activity, challenge activity, and also the lab work, you have to log in to the Zybook. You have to do this online. And so this is actually, some of the features of the Zybook. And so if you have any questions.
Professor, I see some of them, like 1.14 is a lab. Do we also have to do those as part of the reading?
Yes. Actually, what I'm gonna do is, at the beginning of each chapter, I'm gonna actually post the assignments, the reading assignments, and the exercises, and also the lab assignments at the beginning of each chapter. So I want you to do each of the which I'll tell you which lab you need to do to submit. Okay. So I'm gonna actually post the assignments, reading assignments. So for some of the chapter, you don't. Of course, you're welcome to read all the section, but for this text for this class, I may actually skip some of the sections. So when I actually give you the reading assignment, I may actually tell you which section, from section 1.1 to 1.7, 7.5 to 7.6. I gave you the the section number you're going to read, and I also gave you which exercise you need to do, you need to submit. Okay, but
And
also
what if you do extra, like on your own?
That's a good question. Um, yeah, from class perspective, you're always welcome to do the extra, but I'm not gonna grade the extra. Yeah, if you ask me to do it, I check it. I can check the work, but this work will not be counted towards your grade. So I'm not gonna actually put this as part of the grading system. So, but I always encourage you to read more than the class, the material that the class covers. Yes, you're always welcome to read more, and you're always welcome to discuss with me with some of the sections. I don't even actually assign to you, but if you want to read and if you want to do the exercise in these sections, you're always welcome to.
Or
Yeah.
if you're going to do the assignments ahead of time, like let's say if you've already finished the assignments before you get to assign them.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can always do that. If you do this ahead of time, that's good. But as I said, you may end up doing something that's not required. But when I say required, I mean it may not actually require to do this as part of the exercises, the assignments. But you're never going to lose. If you do more, that's always good, because to learn the material, you're always welcome to do more. But in my part, I'm gonna actually provide you the minimal, set of exercises you need to do, for this class. But I'm not gonna actually grade all of them. I'm actually willing to discuss with you if you want to do something outside the class coverage. So you're always welcome to discuss with me the materials outside the class coverage.
Okay. All of it's fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, that's good. So any other questions? Okay. So let me actually do this. So this is basically the Zai book, and so please subscribe it, after the class, and so because the most of the exercises assignments will be online, so you have to actually subscribe to Zai book to do most of the exercises, and let me see. So you're probably going to have more questions on the Zai books, and me too. I also, it's also a learning curve to me, but I actually already go over the materials, the each of the chapters. It's really good, but as a tool, I'm still actually in the learning curve myself. But I think it's really good. The Zai books is really good because when you finish your reading, and then there are some exercises you can immediately perform the exercises, and now so for some of the works, you can actually, if you make a mistake, you can try it again, which is kind of good. This is always my belief that you can always learn something by making mistake, so you can remember the mistake you just made, and not to make the same mistake again. That's the Zai book, and so the material we're going to cover. So as I say, I'm not going to cover all the materials. You can check the syllabus to see the possible materials, the topics we're going to cover. Okay, but all the materials are open to you, so you can always actually, if you're interested in, then you can do more actually than the class assignments. Okay, so let me see what's the next one. Let me okay. Now the other thing I want to show you is the blackboard. Okay. So for the blackboard, you can read the syllabus. You can always, if you want, you can read information, my information. Class document. I can actually put some of the materials from the Zai book and put into the presentation. So just highlight the material information. Then when I talk, I'm probably gonna be able to write something, explain in detail. So I can actually post some of the class document over here as the PowerPoint or other presentation material. Now the assignment is going to be the one that you need to check on the regular basis. Okay, so I haven't posted anything yet, but I plan to post something today for the first actually assignment, include reading assignment. Okay, so please actually check the assignments on regular basis. As I mentioned, that every time when I gave you the assignment, I will specify which chapter, which sections you're going to read, and which exercises you're going to perform. And also, I'm going to actually also post the due date. So every time when I ask you to do the assignment, the class assignment, I will make sure that every instruction is clear enough. Okay. So if you miss any of the assignment, you can lose some points. That's for sure. But I will make it clear. Okay. So you're always welcome to do more than my assigned work. Okay. Now for the discussion, since I'm going to organize this class into probably 3 or 4 groups, maybe 3. So each group are going to consist of 4 people. So I want you actually, somehow to form the group, and I may give you the group assignment, ask you to meet before the class begin, so you can actually put together and discuss the materials on the Zai book, and then before the class you can send me some of the questions and some of the issues and anything you want to actually talk about. So I really want you to be engaged in the class. This is the best way to learn. So just keep that in mind. So we're probably going to use the discussion, course document, and assignments. Okay. Now always check the syllabus if there's any schedule change. I may actually, most likely, I'm going to update the syllabus as well. So. Any questions? Okay. Now before I continue, let me actually do this. Um, some of you already show your video. If you currently only show the avatar, and I hope that you can actually enable your video so we can see each other, and it's kind of like an introduction to each other. You can see what's your classmate and everyone else in the classroom. And unfortunately, we cannot meet face to in the classroom setting, but we thanks for the technology, we can still actually see each other. This is our classroom for today, for this semester. Okay, that's our classroom, and so it's good. So we can still see each other, but however, it's different. So it's not like the regular classroom. Now, if you actually turn off your computer, disconnect your internet, you will feel alone. So you'll feel very lonely because you basically disconnected with everyone. But if you want to actually see other people, you want to get help, you want to help other people, just get it online. Log into the Google Meet, and then that's probably the best way to learn this class. And we actually, as I say, the technology, all these tools are the key for your success. I hope you can take advantage of all these tools so we can actually use them. Okay. Other questions before I move forward? Yeah. Now the other good thing about this is, last semester I went to the classroom. I have some hybrid courses, and I went to the classroom. I can tell you my experience is not really good. Even though it's in the same classroom, everyone wear face mask, and everyone need to keep the social distances, and even for the programming class, and when people talk to me about the project, I cannot walk all the way to the person and sit actually side by side and watch the same screen. So sitting in the same classroom does not do anything better, because I still need to use the technology to assist the student with the comparing issues and all these things. So we still have to keep the social distance, and to make things worse, because everyone would need to wear face mask when they talk, they still need to wear face mask. So it's very stressful. So I don't feel very good unless we got the vaccines. Otherwise, I think remote teaching is still probably, at this moment, it's still probably one of the best way to 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 teach and to take the class. I tried face to face, the classroom actually teaching, but I find out it's really bad, because they cover the keyboard with the plastical things. So every time when we switch the class, we have to spray the keyboard and wipe the keyboard. So there's a lot of work you need to do. But I just feel relaxed when I teach from home. I can get a cup of tea. Okay, you can feel comfortably sitting in your couch and get a cup of tea, and so it's kind of relaxed. I'm not saying the classroom settings not good, but during the COVID-19, with all these restrictions, with all these social distance, rules, it's really very stressful. Okay, so you know, I really, you know, feel, I really appreciate all these technology. Technology make it possible for us to still hold the class, and you know, but you have to take advantage of this. You cannot log yourself off. You cannot log yourself off. If you log yourself off, then you're still going to be feel lonely. So that's the thing. Okay, try to get any help, you know, as much as you can. So that's my suggestion. So um, okay. So any other questions? So I think I'm not going to cover any material, but so I want to first, each of you basically just introduce yourself, and so we can at least know each other. So then later, uh, I will send. So after the class, I will send the first announcement. Oh, one more thing. The When you actually use the tool, there are a couple of things I want you to know. That when you learn actually Java, um, so you can, when you do any exercises using Java, um, you can use the compiler in the Zybook. The Zybook has a kind of a web, the online web-based compiler, so you can actually type your stuff, you know, in the text box, you know, then you can actually click run program, and then it will compile your code. So that's one thing you can do. You can also find other web-based compiler. So you can actually put your Java code in the web browser, and just compile it to do this. And also, the web-based compiler is very convenient. So you don't need to install anything. You just actually need to write the code on the web browser, and then you can compile it. You can run. Now, the disadvantage for the web-based compiler is the web-based compiler cannot do a big job. Basically, if you have a small piece of Java code, you can compile it, no problem. But if you actually want to actually create a project, a very big project, a project may consist of a couple of files, a couple of different, Java files, then the web-based compiler may not work very, very well. So then you need a compiler, the other compiler. Okay, some of the compilers you can use are, I think one of the compiler you can use is NetBeans. Okay, and Eclipse is another compiler. So I'm not going to say which one is better, which one is worse. It's just a different compiler. So once you get used to one of the compiler, you will like it. If you actually use the NetBeans, stick with the NetBeans, because this is going to actually, you're going to work very well. It's just basically, just a compiler. So now if you use this Eclipse, some people told me that the Eclipse is very good. it's also good. So, but you can try both, but I recommend just to stick with one, because once you get used to one compiler, you're gonna be good. However, to submit your homework assignments, submit your lab assignments, I think Zybook is good enough. So you can actually basically, put your code in there, use the Zybook to compile it. It's good enough. But as I say, so if you want to do a project, a little bit big project, it would be more convenient if you actually use the offline compiler. Now, the disadvantage for offline compiler is you have to download it. You need to search the NetBeans on the website and download the NetBeans. These compilers are all free, so you can download the NetBeans and you can compile it, compile your code. So then whether you are connected to the website or not, so you can basically do your work offline. So that's the advantage of the all these different compilers. And also, if you really work on a serious project, if you work in a company, work in a big project, I think most company, most actually corporation, they still use offline compiler because they are more powerful than the online compiler. So the online compiler works, it's convenient, but it's not actually designed to work with a big Java project. So just keep that in mind. So in this class, we're going to mostly use the online one, but in order to actually illustrate some concept of the Java code, I think we're going to use the online compiler. But if you actually do some of the project, you have an option to use the offline compiler. So you can actually put the code on your laptop and use the NetBeans to compile it. I'm going to actually, in this class, in the middle of the class, I may introduce one of the compiler. Most likely, I'm going to use the NetBeans. And if someone used Eclipse, that's fine, but I'm going to introduce the NetBeans and tell you how to use the NetBeans. Okay. So we're going to have an online compiler, so you can actually log into the website and use it's a web-based compiler. And you can use the offline compiler like NetBeans, Eclipse. And some people even use the text-based compiler called it's basically provided by the it's a Java C. Java C. So you can just actually go to the prompt, the document prompt. Then you can use the Java C in a command prompt. Then you can actually use Java C. So Java C is another compiler, so we can use. Now, this is an online, offline compiler. And the other thing I want to mention is the VMware. Okay. For the VMware Horizon. Now, VMware is actually a tool, allows you to log into the remote server. Okay. Now, in the traditional class, Computer Science 1 class, Computer Science 2, we actually teach the class in our lab in Edgley Hall on campus. So in lab actually 201, 202, we have a whole bunch of computer called a syncline. Okay, we have a whole bunch of computer called a syncline. Okay. These actually are client computers that basically use the server. Then once you log into the server, you will actually see some kind of a screen like a Microsoft Windows 10. Okay, you can see Microsoft Windows 10 screen.
Wait, are you talking about VMware Horizon Client?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can actually use the VMware Horizon client. Yeah, there's a client server and a different part. You can use VMware client. Yeah. Yeah. So the good thing about VMware Horizon client is that you can log into the server from your home. Okay, so then you can actually show the screen, that the same screen you can see from the lab, from the university lab. Okay, so this is good. And in this server, it's like a Windows 10. There are a lot of tools you can use. I believe NetBeans is also installed. For Python, it's also but the Python IDLE is also installed. So this machine has a lot of tools we can use for the purpose. If you want to actually do your work using the university server, then you can do so. And one good thing about this is in the VMware Horizon client, when you log into the server, you can access one of the drive called the J drive. You can access the J drive. J drive is the drive that you can use to store your file. So you can basically put your source code and everything in the J drive and log into the VMware, and then you can work on your server machine. You can compile your code. You can do whatever you want. And the drawback for these VMware is you need a very high speed connection. Okay, because it's gonna bring the whole GUI to your home computer. So if your actually connection is slow, then the performance is terrible. So you need a high speed connection. Okay, you need at least like I think probably 25 megabit per second. Your connection should be at least 25% per second, 25 megabit per second. Okay, you have to have a high speed network because basically it's just like a stream video. It just bring the whole stream video to your home computer. So that's one thing. The other thing is that you need a connection. If in case the connection is down, then you lose the connection. So that's the disadvantage. So these are the three ways you can do. You can use the Zybook compiler. You can use offline compiler on your local computer, which is actually, this is the best one in case that if you lose the connection, you can still work offline. And the other one is the VMware Horizon client. So these are, but just keep that in mind. These are the three different options you may have. You have, and actually, the Zybook is not an option. You are required to use the Zybook, but the other tools are the other options. You can use. Okay, so make sure you're actually familiar with all these tools. Okay, so take advantage of all the technologies. Then I think you will be successful in this class. And just keep in mind that you have to actually to connect to the outside. Make sure you are always connected to the classroom, to other people, to your classmate, to your instructors. So that's the key to the success for for the semester. I know it's a very challenging time for all of us, but hopefully it will be over soon. Okay, let me show you how to use the let me show how to use the Zybook. Um, how to use the Zybook compiler. For example, if you, okay, let me see, this is a participation activity. Let me see one of the challenging questions here. Okay, so here's the one, challenge activity, 1.2.2. Okay, so let me give you an example. For example, this is actually the this not this one. Let me find the one that oh, here we go. So for example, the first program. So here, this screen is the workspace. Okay, so you can actually work on your code on this side. So I'm not gonna, I haven't teach actually the Python the Java yet, but basically when you actually use the Java, you have to create a class, and so this is the code. Okay, now so this is actually the Java's way to print the statement. In Java, if you want to display anything, print anything, you need to use the system.out.print or system.out.println. This means line. So that means if you print, then you're going to print something. And if you use print ln, that means you're going to print the material and change to a next line. Okay. So this is the code. If you click run, it's going to automatically compile for you. Okay. Let me see. If you click run, it will compile and run the code. You're going to display the code over here. So here, so when you first print a statement say salary is, so this is actually it, salary is. And then the second one is the wage times 40 times 50. What's the wage? The wage is 20, right? So it's actually 20 times 40 times 50. So that's 40,000. Okay. So that's 20. So salary is 4,000. Okay. So this is actually the code. Now, if I update the code, I just say I print one more. I just type the end of the program, just semicolon, and then I can rerun it. Okay. So then you're going to actually just execute the program. Now this is the second statement I just printed out. So that's basically the online compiler for the Zybook. So for most of the submissions, we use this online compiler. But as I say, you can always use the offline compiler like a NetBeans. Okay. So that's pretty much all I want to talk about for today. And just after the class, I'm going to actually post our first assignments. Please make sure you check the Blackboard for the assignments. And you have any questions?
Oh yeah, earlier, like 15 minutes ago, I sent you an email about a document.
Okay.
Yeah, if you would check that, please do.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll check the email on a regular basis, so don't worry. So any other questions? Okay, so then please actually check the Blackboard on regular basis. So I will post the announcement, post the assignments on the Blackboard. So just check it. And also don't forget to subscribe the Zybooks. Make sure you subscribe it and perform the assignment. Okay, just do the assignment. So if you don't have any other questions, then I will see you on Friday.
Thank you, Professor. See you Friday.
See you Friday.
See you Friday.
Okay, bye.
See you.